I'm going to record this. Start over. What are all the new things that you're doing?
New things, closer to the ball, more of a straight approach, using your body more in terms of getting that mechanical benefit, and almost letting the club just drop down and not using your arms to force the ball, and then also using the wrists more.
Right. Okay. So basically the opposite of everything that we did. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, really. I mean, we were rotating, coming from the inside, using the hands and arms more, not the body as much, because when you actively use your body, you don't get a mechanical benefit, you get a dispersion increase, because when you use your body more, you're less consistent. When you use your hands more, you still retain the mechanical advantage of speed without the inconsistency of moving all around with your body. So the net result
is a mess.
Well, the net result is, what is your scores done and your shots?
With this change swing, I'm a disaster.
Yeah.
It's like if I had to try to do what he told me to do, it's like I'm almost back to where I started.
Right, which is what happened.
Yeah.
Because we went to a place that was, in my opinion, good, and we were progressing.
I was in a comfort zone.
Well, you were in a comfort zone, but your desire to go to a next level is not the problem. It's just that when you got the advice to change everything that you were doing to get to the next level, that should have been a red flag. Because just because you're doing a certain thing, the game of golf is fascinating, right? So once you've built swing mechanics, your swing mechanics really shouldn't change to get to the next level.
Right.
It's more course management, it's more of personal fitness, it's more flexibility. If you're going to go up a level, it's more to do with your mind and your body, not your mechanics. And so I feel like the changes that you did basically undid everything that we were working toward doing. Which hopefully, in my opinion, hopefully we can get you back, because, you know, the reason why we went longer, the reason why we set the clubs that way, the reason why we had the grips that way, the reason why we gripped the club that way, the reason why we turned and used our arms that way was all for you and your biomechanical makeup, not your son's makeup or another person's makeup. And to me, the information that you just told me about what you learned is all classic, like, it's not even fundamental, it's just classic golf knowledge that's passed from golf instructor to golf instructor to golf instructor. And those golf instructors don't understand biomechanics, they don't understand how to get a person to move appropriately for themselves. So they just teach the same thing to every single golfer. So I'm a little frustrated because of...
No, I mean, his dad was, great golf instructor,
right.
40, 50 years ago. What is it, that famous course on Long Island?
Yeah.
Westchester. And it's like, he said, this is how my father taught me when I was 7 years old.
Right.
And if you do these things, it may take you a while, but you will have,
a
proper golf swing.
Yeah, so he should have got you when you were 7.
Yeah.
And taught you those things.
Right.
And then you would have been fine. But he didn't get you when you were 7, unfortunately. And the truth of it is, the understanding that we have of biomechanics, and my personal understanding, is like 1,000 times more than the average golf pro. And so for me to hear that, it's like, oh no, what happened? We went backwards. And so that's why I'm curious, do you still have your other clubs at home somewhere? Okay, I wanted to measure them and just see what the differences are. But the fact that you learned it and then immediately got worse, that should always be a red flag. I mean, there's been times that we've worked on stuff and it hasn't clicked right away, but within a week or two, it's clicked.
Right.
So you're on the right track when you are progressing, even just small incremental progressions. In fact, in this game, a lot of times as we age, as long as we're not going backwards, we're actually progressing. right? Because if we actually, don't get stronger and faster with our body, and maybe we don't get any smarter with our mind, we might be at a stagnant level for a period of time until we change our mind and our body. The mechanical advantages, the swing, all that kind of stuff, that can be refined, but it's like teeny little incremental tweaks to make it better. And we, as you know, the club fitting part of it is part of that. We change the heads. We do change the cog on the driver so that instead of starting at 10.5 going to 12.5, hitting it higher, as you got better, we lowered the loft of the driver so that we could see the ball run out and do that kind of stuff. So to see the red flags of the missed hits, and like you said, you were a mess, don't ever blame yourself that much. Right?
Yeah.
It's like if you went and got your car changed and all of a sudden you had a pull to the left with your alignment.
Yeah.
Don't blame the fact that you're a bad driver because the car is pulling to the left. There's a reason for that. So what do you want to do? What do you think?
I just want to be a better golfer. Whatever gets me there is fine. It's like I think I can be better than I am.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to get there.
Yeah, so I want to watch you hit, and I want to see how much or how little of the new stuff really took, right?
Okay.
Because if it doesn't really, it's tricky. If it doesn't really look like much of it really took, then you're just stuck in limbo between swing thoughts, not necessarily neuromuscular connectivity, right? So when you pick a task to do, before it gets ingrained in that motor firing pattern, before it gets ingrained, you have to think about it a lot. And if you're thinking about one thing, but your motor pattern is still the old swing, I think that's actually a blessing, because then all we have to do is think about the old stuff and it'll click back in place.
Okay.
So let me just see.
Okay.
Just make some swings. Pretend I'm not even here. You're just warming up in the range, and let me just see. Yeah, and it's tricky because there's times, I guess I'll ask the question, when you saw, because any time you're working on something new, there has to be a light at the end of the tunnel, right? So if you saw a shot and you're like, wow, that's exactly what I want to do, what was the difference? Like, how much better was it than what you were doing?
It felt better, but that's like a 1 in 10 kind of a situation. Most of the time, it felt worse.
Right, and then what about if it felt better? Was there an appreciable height or distance measured difference?
The sense of contact was better. And then the flight was really nice, and the ball went a little further.
Okay. All right, so let's see what your move looks like.
That's some old It's like I was always leaving a little more space between myself.
Yeah.
He had me going almost like up in here.
Right. Yeah, I can tell the lie angles of these clubs are way more upright as well, and that's part of that reasoning.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get the track band so we can measure a couple distances as well. What iron is that you're hitting? Okay. Yeah, it's not abnormal what you did, Steve. I see it all the time where a member will leave and they'll go work with someone else, and sometimes I have conversations with those instructors before they start, and
I figured I had like a month, and it's like, what the hell? Let me try to do a little tweaking.
Sure.
And then it's like, oh no, we gotta start over again.
Yeah. I mean, as a doctor, it's like you've got a new patient. You can probably go to their records and find out kind of what their background was. In golf, we don't have a records thing to look at. So when you were doing your lessons, did he use TrackMan or some kind of?
You didn't need a TrackMan. I was swinging so poorly.
So even in the first lesson, he didn't really know how far you hit a wedge?
No.
Okay.
I think he had me swing a couple times. I don't think he was looking at that so much. He
Yeah.
was looking at what my swing looked like.
Yeah, right. So when you were here last summer, how far did a pitching wedge go?
Maybe 100.
100? Okay.
Like, I think I'm hitting the ball better now than I did last year.
1 out of 10 times?
Yeah.
So that statement's not
Right.
very
No. I'm
accurate.
hitting longer, more consistent, less, the bad shots are very infrequent now unless the lie is completely difficult. And
Yeah. Okay. All right, go for it with that pitching wedge. Yeah, so the difference in the clubs, just the design of the clubs, is about 1 club of loft change between the head designs from what you were using to what you are using now. So every time you hit an 8-iron in this set, it's about the same as a 7-iron from your old set, because the lofts have changed about 4 degrees per club. So the distance gain that you're getting, if you're not getting it out of your swing improvement, you're getting it out of the equipment improvement. Because these are concept irons, which are stronger lofts.
Yeah.
So this 8-iron is not really an 8-iron, it's a 7-iron from your old set.
Okay.
So if you're seeing even half a club or 1 club improvement on good shots, again, it's not you that's doing it, it's the club that's doing it. So
what are you seeing so far?
Yeah, so far, oops, turned off here. Let me open it back up. So far your average, well, we'll get rid of that one, you chunked that one. Delete that. Looks like the average is around 100 yards carry. You've hit 4 balls. One was a 92-yard carry, one was a 97-yard carry, one was a 99-yard carry, and one went further, basically a 100-yard carry on that.
And then it runs another...
The pitching wedge is not going to run more than 5 yards probably, because that's, when it lands on the green, 5 yards is like 1, 3, 4, 5. 5 to 7 yards it'll roll. Yeah. So 100 to 110 on that one. I think the good news for me, at least, is your swing really doesn't look that much different.
This swing is basically my former swing.
Okay.
Because if I start doing what he told me, I mean, I can do one, but it's like it's just totally a mess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then, let's just work through those key pieces, right? So, first of all, you're going to create 95% of your club hit speed with your hands and arms.
Well, he was saying that most of it ought to be coming out of the body.
Right, because he doesn't understand biomechanics.
Okay. All right.
Right, so if I took this, I'll show you.
It's like he had me, it's like, you know, it's like you need to get your body. It's like,
Yeah, we've done this, right?
And really just,
yeah.
Like this is where it's coming from. The arms. And
right, so here, video, hold this up here. All right, is it rolling? Okay. So here's how far I can hit the ball with my legs.
So then why is he saying?
Because he doesn't understand.
Okay.
Right?
You know, he's considered a top pro.
Yeah. Well, it's probably because his dad was a top pro, and then he has the same last name or whatever it is, and kind of, I mean, it's kind of how it works, right?
Yeah.
It's like politicians, sometimes they're top because they're part of that family.
Yeah.
But how many no-armed golfers play golf? There's actually a few. And what they have to do is they have to anchor it to their neck, and they hold it like this under their chin, and they hit the ball. It's pretty miraculous. But there's plenty of one-armed golfers that can hit the ball 300 yards. And they're using their one arm to hit the ball. They're not using their hips and their legs and all that stuff to hit the ball. There's plenty of paraplegics sitting in what's called a stand-up rider that's anchored their body, and they can't use any strength from their core down, and they can play golf. But there are very, very few that can play golf without their arms, right? So when people say all the power comes out of the ground reaction force, hip rotation, leg rotation, there's an additional 3 to 5% that comes out of that. So the way it works is, let's say, for example, I said, so pick up a ball, right? Okay, now just throw it that way, right? So you threw it with your arm, you stepped to throw it with your arm. Now pick up another ball and put your feet together, don't move them, and then throw it with your arm, right? You're fully capable of throwing it just as far without doing any step, without doing any weight transfer, without doing any rotation. But if you watch a pitcher on the pitcher's mound, when they do a big step and a big twist and a big throw, they do swing faster. Like, he's not wrong in that you can swing faster using your legs and your hips. But the truth of it is, it's an additional 3 to 5%. So if you're hitting a 100-yard wedge already, and you gain 3 more yards to 5 more yards, well, maybe it's worth it. But what I find is that when you add that extra 3 to 5%, you get the speed wobbles because the accuracy portion is in your hands. And when you start throwing your hips and your feet and your legs into it, you lose control, but you maybe 1 out of 10 hit it further. So it really becomes not worth it. And if there's anybody that's tried it all, it's me, right? Because I'm still trying to play. At 47, I'm still trying to beat 21-year-olds on the tour. I try to hit it as far as I possibly can. If I wind up, lift my left foot, stomp my heel, twist like DeChambeau, and I do all this stuff, I can see maybe a couple miles an hour on a driver swing increase. Well, 2 miles an hour on a driver swing maybe turns into about 8 yards. If I'm already hitting at 300 without doing that, and I want to hit at 308 and bring rough and water and out of bounds into, that's not worth it to me. And it shouldn't be worth it to you. So when you create speed and acceleration as a left-handed person swinging right-handed, what we have to do is we have to accelerate your arms. The right-handed swinger has more leverage using their right hand to create speed, which is what we've done. We've kind of cocked it and flung it and snapped it, and that's exactly where we need to go. If we want to create more speed, we have to get your left arm to kind of backhand snap, you know, throw like a frisbee. Yeah. So we have to accelerate both arms. So if you take this stick right here and you put it in your left hand, let me take your iron, and you step back in that space back there. If you start kind of pulling it up like a golf swing and then backhand swishing it, there you go, do that again, right? So don't move your feet at all, just swish the stick. There you go, now swish it faster. Now as a lefty, swish it this way. Swish it like that direction. No, so yeah, start back there and swish it all the way through. So you're going to be a tennis player, right? Right, so it's stronger in that direction than it is in that direction.
Right.
But flip it and do your right hand only. And then do it like a golf swing. There you go. So even though you're left-handed, you still have plenty of strength and speed in your right hand. But that sound, as it goes through the air, is going to be just as fast with your feet not moving as it is with them twisting and spinning and turning. And so what we have to do is leverage our hands and arms to create that speed. So
what I find is when I always have that issue about right and left-handedness, and then it's like, then I have control over, start losing control over the direction of the ball. It's like somehow I just want it to go straight.
Right. And so what happens is the golf ball only knows the collision at the club face, right?
Right.
So if it's moving around and twisting during that 100-mile-an-hour swing or whatever it is that you're swinging at, that's where your inconsistency comes from.
Right.
And then when you clamp down to guide it and try to make it go straighter, you're slowing the swish. So when you take your left arm and you think, okay, I'm just going to make it go straight.
Yeah.
You slow it down, you guide it. So what we have to do is keep it accelerating, but trust that the face is going to be square at that millisecond of impact. So the ball only stays in contact with the face for maybe a thousandth of a second or something. So whether it's coming through, you know, longer this way or rotational this way matters. So if at the moment of impact you're half a degree open or half a degree closed, that's going to change your accuracy tremendously. So what we have to figure out is how do we fling this piece of metal and make sure that the face is going through straight. So as you snap that stick there, I want you to swish two-handed, do two hands, but I want you just to swish the iron. And you notice how there's an acceleration at the bottom and like through the downswing. So the way this works, swing back and stop, right? If you're creating force down here, and I said lift your arms up here and then hammer down on this side, right? Go ahead and push down with your arms, right? Push against me this way, like boom, right? Like you're hammering, chopping wood, right? Now hold it up here and just let your arms relax, right? Now start turning your body. Where's the power?
In the arms.
Yeah, because you can't rotate that body fast enough to get what you got out of that swing of the arms. So do a couple of big arm swings again there, and swish it down. There you go. So now let's try it with the ball, because we've captured what kind of a no arm swing speed looks like, and we can capture what an arms swing looks like. Yeah, be aggressive with the arm swish. Yeah, there you go. So what we have to do is we have to get that acceleration to all happen just prior to impact. So when you swish that stick, right? So take the stick again here. Let me take that. So we'll make a marker. So come over here. There's your marker. Put your feet on either side of that shaft, kind of like 1 foot here and here. Right? Go back in your backswing as far as you can, just with one hand, right? Relax that arm. Because again, if this arm is stiff, you can't swish it. If this arm is loose and this wrist is loose, you can whip it. So whip it through the air, backhanded.
You know, I always, before before I used to bend my arm.
Yeah.
So now it's like I almost have to be thinking about it, so I have to keep it.
Yeah, don't do that. You don't want to bend. You don't want to keep a stiff arm. Do the exercise. Go like this for me. Put your left arm out stiff and then swish it. Then swish it. Okay, now bend it and swish it. So much faster. It's leverage, right? So you have angles in there. So swing back to the top and stop. If you go stiff arm, the only angle you have is your shoulder.
Right.
If you bend that elbow, you now have an elbow and a wrist. When you straighten that, you go wham. That's how much faster you go with that arm. So you bend it up over your shoulder and then whip it backwards. Yeah, there you go. See how much faster that went? Yeah. So it's like if I said, all right, Steve, I swear I want to put my pool over here and we need to go and chop down all that brush. You're not going to walk into the brush with a stiff left arm. You're going to go like this. You're going to, in fact, as a lefty, you're not going to do much backhanding of that stuff. You're going to do more forehanding and you're going to chop it down that way. Right. So as you do your swishes here, go swish quickly, both ways, and go quick back. Yep, and then whip it the other way. Nope, go this way too. Yeah, there you go. Do that again, both ways. Yep, swish and then swish. Swish and swish. All right, so stop there and then go quickly on the backswing side. Yeah, there you go, and then go back. So you're like in the highlands of New Guinea with a machete, just chopping.
You think that it's going to be you're going to be even more variance if you're not, you know, like when you come back on your backswing, it's like you kind of do it really slow,
yeah,
so that you know you're in the right spot.
Right.
So when you come down, there's going to be less variance of where you hit the ball.
Yeah, you would think.
But that's not the case.
No.
All right.
Right. That's why there's blind golfers in this world that are scratch golfers. It's not about hand-eye coordination. It's about biomechanical movement patterns that are repeatable. Okay. If you're stiffening your left arm because you're trying to control that spot at the bottom, you're fighting the wrong fight. If you create a nice bend, right? So do that. Just go slowly, right? Bend, swish, bend, swish. So I'll show you exactly what I'm asking for. Just stand there and do this. All right, so watch me. I'm looking at you. I'm hitting the ground every time. Now look at where I'm hitting the ground. Am I hitting it in the same spot? I'm not trying to. What's allowing me to hit the same spot every time is that I'm not doing all of this movement with my body, right? So when you create speed both ways, that's what you're doing, is you're training your arms to do that. So for longevity in the game and helping you get your game to another level, this arm speed thing is where you want to spend 90% of your effort. And it's not swing mechanics, it's athleticism, right? Just what you're doing there, it's taken you 30 swings already to be athletic with that arm. Because when you started, you were holding that arm super stiff, and then when you came through here, you guided it with a straight arm. Now it's bending. And the reason why that left arm is bending is because you're being athletic, right? So flip it over in the right hand now. And just go back and forth. Swish, swish, swish. Yep. There you go. Good. So when we grab that club now, so trade places, put the stick down, and then stand on either side of that. The reason why the stick is there is because it's giving you a reference point of halves. You have a back half over here, and then you have a follow-through half. All of your exertion, all of this throwing, the sound of the stick should be happening all on this half. If you're hearing that club swish faster on this half, you've hit the ball and then you're going your fastest. So it's in the wrong location. There, that was your best swing of the day. So try that again. Yep, nice, relaxed, bend the elbows. Okay, If you don't hit it 20 yards further with that swing versus the one you were using, I'd be shocked.
No, I'm going to hit it further. It's whether I can hit it straight.
Okay, so yes. So what makes it go straight?
Consistency.
What does the ball know? The ball only knows face. So when you're whipping it through there, and on a Monday you whip it through like this, and a Tuesday you whip it through like this, then yes, you're going to be inconsistent. But the whipping shouldn't change. Your ability to whip it and collide square is the refinable skill. So step one, you have to be an athlete to whip it. Once you've got the whipping, let's then figure out how to whip it consistently. And here's how we do that: by trying less, working less, not thinking more. Because if you have to think more, what happens is you slow the club down in order to make it go straight. The truth of it is that ball is on that face at a millisecond, whether you're swinging hard or slow. Doesn't matter. There's no appreciable difference. So you might as well go fast, and then based on the ball flight, figure out how to make those little mini changes. So just go fast and let's see. I mean, you'll be surprised. You're probably going to hit it pretty straight just by whipping it. So relax the arms, let the elbows bend. Yep. And get that whip before impact, not after impact. Okay. That was pretty good. Club head speed is, let's see here, that was 70.1. And your fastest prior was 67. So you're already 3 miles an hour faster, and you topped it a little bit. So come in a little closer, relax the elbows. Give me that nice big whipping motion. There you go. That's what we want. Right? And that wasn't even sweet spot. That was kind of a little clunky.
Yeah.
But you had a 71.4 mile an hour speed. So it's your fastest speed. And your carry was 110 yards instead of 100 yards. So you picked up 10 more yards and swung 5 miles an hour faster. Yeah. And when you get the sweet spot, it'll be even more than that. Yep, so I don't think your whip was as fast. Let's see. Yeah, it was the same. 71. 71 and a 104. So when you're not getting under the ball, your vertical throw is not vertical enough, right? So if you think about it, if you wanted to dig a trench right here, plant some carrots, you would go straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, and then you'd hit the ground all the time, right? Versus what you're doing, which is like you're trying to chop a tree down because you're coming into it more sideways rather than down. So do a couple practice swings, and as you throw down, I'll show you, swing up and stop, right? Throw down, yeah, closer to your toes so that the club comes in here a little bit more. Yeah, so you're throwing down.
What I'm doing here is pushing out.
Exactly. Yep. So think about like if we went to the park and you had to push a kid on the swing set, right? If this is the swing set, go ahead and push the kid on the swing set.
Down.
Yeah. So you push down here to accelerate through the bottom. You don't push sideways. You don't push in the direction of you're trying to hit the ball. What you do is you push on the downswing, and then all the momentum then collides with the ball. There it is. That's better. Yeah. There you go. Right?
Yep.
So now it went a little left, but it went 115 in the air. And your speed was 72. So we're up to 72 miles an hour. Yep, so work on the down throw. There you go. Yep. That's okay. You hit the ground. We got the down into the ground on that one. That was 72 miles an hour, so it's still good speed.
Should golf swings be effortless, or should, because I feel like I'm really pushing on it.
Right. Yeah, if you want to hit it shorter, put less effort.
Okay. Okay.
You can play golf effortlessly. Yeah.
No, I just want to know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, no, what I think what you're asking is there an efficiency?
Yeah.
So, if you add no effort, yes, you'll get no result. But there is an applied amount, right? There's an overexertion. We can over effort this thing for sure. So we have to put effort, but we don't want to over effort because there's diminishing return. You get wobbly with your stance, your body starts moving, you get out of breath, you're feeling like, holy crap, what am I doing? I'm like,
I'm not there yet.
I'm trying to hit a golf ball and I shouldn't be like out of breath trying to. So I literally feel the same. When I stand up on a tee shot and I try to hit it as hard as I possibly can, I'm like out of breath after one swing.
Yeah.
Because it's a full body exertion.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, applying the effort in the right zone makes it efficient. Where you're applying the effort right now is you're applying the effort in muscle effort. If you flick your hands in the right space, that's how you get effort. So I'll show you. So I'll show you the difference. All right, so hold it right here. Okay, come on this side over here. So probably in front, and then just wet your fingers there. You got it? And
Yes.
Come in much closer. All right. So here's the visual difference. You're like applying effort, and that's what it looks like.
Yes.
Right? So I'll get in the radar zone here. So I go up and I go, that's me exerting, and that speed was 81 miles an hour, and I chunked it and I hit it 78 yards. Now this is applied effort. So I'm going up, I'm kind of relaxing, and I'm giving my club just a little push in this direction down, like pushing the kid on the swing. I'm applying the effort here, not with exertion, but just at the right time. Like if that kid was already swinging through, and as the swing's coming through, I like run over.
Doesn't do you any good.
Back,
Yeah.
I'm working way too hard.
Right.
If the kid's on their way back and I catch him and then I try to stop it, that's not efficient. But if I wait for that just at the right moment, when there's a little bit of a free fall, and as it free falls I add, that's your efficient point. So what it looks like is this. Like here, boom. So then there's effort. That was 77.
That looked effortless.
Effortless, because I'm applying effort in the right spot. So that was 77 miles an hour again. If I apply effort in the wrong spot, way down here, that looks like more effort. That was only 70 miles an hour. So that was 7 miles an hour slower, but I worked way harder because I did it down here.
So when you swing, show me if you want to call it the sweet area where you're applying that.
Yep, I'll show you. Right, so I get all the way back, and then I kind of let it go to about right here, and it's in the vertical section. So if you think about the mass here, at the top of the swing, the mass has to go out to catch the vertical down. I don't want to apply effort to go from here to here, but when it gets here, I want to be applying it down. So I apply it through the down portion because gravity's helping me at this point. I got 32 feet per second just on its own. So when you said, can someone swing effortlessly? You can. This is what that would look like. Looks silky smooth. I just swung at 59 miles an hour. That's no fun. So I can be effortless and play golf. That's 100% true. But if I add effort just a little bit at the right point, then I get that kind of a shot. Applied here, that was 80 miles an hour. Because I applied it here, the pitching wedge went 140 yards in the air. So I just hit it 30 to 35 yards further than you did, and we were swinging the same speed. Because you basically got yours to 77 miles an hour. So if you could get it somewhere around 77 or 80, applied in the right spot, and obviously colliding well, you can hit your pitching wedge 140 instead of 100. So let's try that. Let's try that.
That would be nice.
So there is effort, number one. There is effort in the arms, not the legs. And the effort zone. So swing back and stop. Right? So from there to here, not a ton of effort. But then from there to there, that's where the effort is. The effort is in alignment with gravity. So you're not fighting it. Yep, so the grip is pretty loose so that you can give it a little toss down at the right spot. Right? So now the reason why I went a little left is because at the moment of impact, the club face collided like that. So we got to get the effort to come down, but not have the club face angled too far to the left. So open it up in your grip a little bit.
Okay.
Right? So instead of setting it down like that, set it a little more like that, and then try to apply the effort in the same spot. Nice high hands, give it a little throw down. Okay, you topped it, but I think your speed was pretty good. Yep, relax, nice high hands. Okay, so now the club face is the reason why it's going left. So open up the club face a little bit. Come in a little closer, right there. Give yourself that nice high arm swing. Ooh, that was pretty close. Pretty close. So now we have to just have, so that was 71 miles an hour. We have to have a little bit more frame of reference on where to do the throwing, because you're not quite throwing in the right spot.
Where am I throwing it now?
Yeah, I'll show you. Swing back and stop. So when you think vertical, what you're doing is you're kind of throwing it like vertical over here in the direction of the ball.
Right.
When you took the club back, you took it on an arc. See that?
Yeah.
That's the returning vertical. Right? So if you take it back on this arc and you go back up here, you have to throw it back on the same arc. So it's kind of like...
Should I be throwing it that much of an arc, or should I be straight?
No, you shouldn't be straight. So swing back slowly, and as you go back, look at the club relative to this stick.
It needs to be more like that.
Well, lift it up high. Your greatest asset is your arm height. So once it's there, now if I matched up that to the ball, I would say it's kind of on about that angle. Now when you throw, you have to throw back down this arc, not like out over the top of that arc, right? So relative to how your body feels, I'll show you where that feeling is. So do your setup, right? Swing back and stop. Now, don't worry about visual. Let's go for feel. Your seam of your shorts is over on this side of your leg.
Right.
Seam of your shirt is on this side of your leg. Your throw is over here by the seam of your leg, not out in front of your body. So you pull it back, and then you hammer it down beside you, so it feels like this. So put your right hand beside you, raise it up. That's what it feels like. The difference is you're not going to hit yourself because you're like this. So take your stance, put your right arm out in front, turn back, and then bring it back down to where your hands were. So it's kind of like that direction. So when you take your right arm, both arms up, you're actually bringing them back down to the side of you, not in front of you. Yeah, like that. That's the feeling. Yep. All right, so if it goes a little left like that, you threw it a little over here toward your bag. So I'm going to put this stick back here on the ground. That's where I want you to feel like you're throwing it, kind of back by your right hip. Yep. So raise it up nice and high. Throw it down. Yeah, there you go. Very good. So step one is the throw.
Yeah.
How do you throw? With bent elbows and bent wrists. That's how you throw. All right. If I said take your club and throw it as far down the driving range as you can, you're not going to do it with a stiff left arm.
Right.
You're going to bend your arm and you're going to like throw it. Now that you're throwing with your elbows and your wrists, we have to make sure that we're throwing it in the right section. So it's downward, but also what feels like behind you, not in front of you. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So the only problem that we're running into is the leftover body motion that you worked so hard on. You worked hard on weight shift and movement, and what's happening is it's actually kind of messing up your consistency.
Right.
So what I want you to try to do is the same type of swing with the arms, but keep your feet like super close together and essentially disable your ability to weight shift. Even closer, put your feet closer. A little more. Yeah, now do a couple practice swings with the arm throw. See how you lose balance easier? So just focus on arms. We don't want the body to start moving and getting in the way. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So let's try that with the ball. Yep, nice high arm swing. Give it a throw down. Look at that. Best shot of the day. And you had 68 miles an hour club head speed, and it carried 110 yards, and you did it all with your arms. You didn't use your weight shift, your hip turn, any of that stuff. And the fact that you stabilized your feet by putting your feet together allowed your arms to actually do their job. When you were shifting and kind of lunging forward, your arms were still swinging fast, but they weren't connecting with the ball because the feet were knocking you out of position. Let me grab you water. Is this making sense?
Absolute sense.
Yeah. You know, I think as far as applying the effort, there's a level of efficiency.
No, I think what's happening is it's just when you've taught me other things. Initially, when I do it, it seems like an extreme effort,
Mm-hmm.
and then once you start getting into that groove,
Yeah.
it becomes just
Yeah.
more intuitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean if I can hit the ball, pretty straight
Mm-hmm.
at that distance, I'm golden.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about, you're not alone. I don't teach like other teachers teach. And I mean, we have members here that go everywhere across the country and the world, and they'll go to places, they'll get lessons directly from Butch Harmon or David Ledbetter, and then they'll come back here and they'll take a lesson from me and they'll go, well, that's completely different than what I'm learning, but it works.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really what's important.
Yeah, it's all that's important. I funnel everything I do through two things. Is it good for my body? And is it going to hold up under tournament pressure? That's it.
Yep.
That's the only two things. Because if it's good for my body, that means it's biomechanically correct. I'm not exerting the wrong torques and twists, because I see people out here all the time. I mean, you've had your case of little injuries and issues along the way, And most of the time, the injuries and the issues come when we block power. You know, when power is going and you clamp on and you grip too tight, and then you end up getting like sore fingers and wrists and shoulders and everything else. So when we create an exertion, we don't want to overexert because we don't want to be out of breath. But if we do it at the right time, gosh, I mean, it looks effortless, it feels effortless. You know, it's so much better for our bodies. The one little hang up we got to get over is control of flight.
Right.
Your, and most golfers, impression of control of flight is if I control the club, I'll hit it straighter. What we have to do is throw the club with reckless abandon and zero effort of control and then see where it goes. Like kids, when they learn, they don't try to control the ball, because controlling the ball is not fun, because they're not playing on a course. They don't know that there's bunkers and hazards. They're on the range and they just hit. They go to Top Golf and they just rip at it and they hit it really hard. As long as it lands somewhere on planet Earth, they don't, wherever it goes, they don't care. But inevitably what happens is, because they're not trying to control that club face and slow it down through impact, it actually comes out pretty straight. So what we have to do is, every time the ball is not going where we want, don't slow it down to hit it straighter. Change your grip, change the face, either open or close the face.
I think that advice now is going to work. I think if you gave me that advice a year and a half ago,
right,
it wouldn't have worked, because I was doing so many things wrong that there was no consistency in everything else, that it was like a wasted effort. I would try that, it didn't work. Sometimes it didn't work.
Totally.
But now I think from what we did today, I can see that now. It's like, man, I'm swinging pretty fast. Okay, I'm chunking a couple here and there, but I think if I work on that some more, I think I can even get that out. So if I can start hitting, like you said, that 71 miles an hour pretty consistently, I'm golden. If I can pick up another 20 yards on each one of the clubs, I mean, that changes my game dramatically.
It does, and that's what gets you to the next level. So it's not necessarily a mechanical change that gets you there. It's just the applied effort in the right spot, getting better and more consistently applying it in that correct zone. I mean, when we started, we had to change your grip, we had to change your hands. I mean, that took a while to kind of get the club face to kind of sit in your hands properly. Then we had to change the path. So instead of the path coming out and over, we had to work really hard on, swinging out to 1 o'clock and releasing behind and getting a big turn. Like, that was a big thing. We had to turn the hips and turn the shoulders. So now that we're there, what we have to do is throw that club down through the bottom part of the arc so that the momentum accelerates under and through the ball more consistently. So I'm curious to see, where your driver speed is at by doing this too. Because if we can get a little bit of a benchmark as we start the summer, and we can look back at this video and go, okay, well, he was able to get 72 mile an hour exerting, 70 to 71 with a appropriate exertion. Same on the driver. If we hit a couple drivers just with comfortable exertion, and then we hit a couple really, really hard, let's see what your numbers are. And then we have a goal, we can kind of work toward that. But the trick is, like you found with your feet together, we want that effort coming out of the hands and arms, not out of the legs and the feet. Because you'll see as you rewatch this video, you'll see in the beginning how much kind of lateral sliding, shifting movement you had. And then when we hit that last one with the feet together, how your swing looked like my swing, where it was just an arms swing on an arc, and there wasn't any exerted like shoving or pushing. So let's tee up some drivers and kind of see what kind of numbers we're starting with there. And then probably have to wrap up with just a couple of these. Then at least we have a starting point.
It's like, I feel better. I was getting really worried.
Yeah.
I have to start all over again?
So, and this one isn't as down, right? It's a longer club, So the throw angle is more of a swooping roundhouse throw. So it's more like a baseball throw. So if you hit the ground, that means you're going up and down too much. You have to round it out like a baseball swing. Yeah, so let's do that. See if we can kind of throw it in the right spot. Yep, throw wasn't bad as far as the location of it. You just hit the top. Yeah, there you go. All right, so that was what level of exertion you think?
Moderate.
Moderate. So that was 81. So on this last ball, give me something to record as a personal best. So as you wind up, whip it fast with your hands. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, wow, look at that.
That's the longest ball I've ever hit, I think.
Gosh, that was 88.4.
Fast.
That's fast.
How far did it go?
240.
That's my personal best. We're gonna stop on that.
Yeah, we'll stop on that one. All right.
So Monday morning is good for you?